The world is ending as we know it, and I'm here making YouTube videos like nothing is happening. It's been 2 months since I've built a brand new PC on the channel. I'm forgetting what a brand new PC looks like, smells like, and feels like. So originally I was supposed to rebuild BigRed using NVIDIA's new 3000 series GPUs. I was going to call it BigRed version 4, but doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon. And I actually have 4 builds planned, believe it or not, 3 of which are water-cooled builds, but because of human malware, a lot of the factories are shut down overseas and stock is very limited. So I haven't received any of the parts for any of my builds. And since I'm quarantined, I thought, why not show BigRed a little love? I mean, after all, it hasn't been turned on in 5 months. Kind of like my wife. So in this video, we're gonna be draining the system, we're gonna flush out the radiators, and kind of prep it for its big upgrade later this year. The reason why BigRed hasn't been turned on in 5 months is because of the Thanos PC built back in October. Originally, it was meant for the office, but I was really impressed with the productivity performance that I took it home and started using that instead. So BigRed has been sitting on an Alex drawer next to it for the past 5 months. As you can see, there's a crap ton of dust everywhere, and even the coolant changed from solid to transparent, and only God knows how much gunk and buildup are in the water blocks. So I guess in this video we'll also find out what happens to a water-cooled PC if you don't do any maintenance to it in 5 months. All right, before we even start taking stuff apart, let's see if this thing even turns on, to be honest. What if it just spills everywhere? Oh my God. Okay, no leaks. I have no RAM in there too. What the hell happened to my RAM? Always gotta make sure all the cables are disconnected and your power supply is set to off. You're gonna be draining your system. All right, so to flush your system, what you'll need is a full jug. That's basically enough to fill your entire coolant. I like to use this 1 gallon one over here that I picked up from Amazon. And of course, you'll need some soft tubing to make the draining process a lot easier. All right, so here is my drain port for my system, conveniently located right next to the actual reservoir. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the valve. Okay, next I will need a compatible fitting for my tube. That way I can plug it into the drain valve and flush the system. So I'm gonna go over to my fittings area. I'm really proud of this, by the way, guys. I bought this organizer from Amazon, and what I did was I cut the label off of each fitting bag and I placed them on the front of each of these little bins. So if I need a specific fitting, let's say a 90-degree elbow fitting with a 20mm size, then I just come here, pull it out, and boom, here's my fitting, ready to go. But yeah, for those of you who do a lot of water-cooled builds and want a way to organize your fittings, here's one awesome way of doing it. Anyway, so my soft tubing fittings are over here. Let's just grab one. Gotta make sure it's the right size. Yep, perfect. Right, then we come back here to the valve, plug this in. So this isn't required, but what I like to do for my soft tube builds is I like to heat the tip a little bit. That way it stretches out, making it a lot easier to insert into the fittings, especially if it's a barbed fitting. So not too much, just maybe like 10 seconds. There you go. Once that's inside, I have to lock it in place, the cap. You don't really have to, honestly, for soft tubing, but I want to show you guys the right way of doing things. So, all right, so everything is pretty much hooked up, ready to go. I have my tube running straight down to the 1 gallon jug, and we are ready to release the Kraken. All we're gonna do is rotate the valve. Oops, wrong way. Boom. There it goes. So as you guys can see, the coolant kind of stopped, and we have plenty of coolant left in the res. This means that there is some air trapped. So I'm gonna go up here and kind of release one of the drain plugs. So we'll do this one over here on the top. Kind of looks like it's bleeding. Alright, so all the coolant is gone from the res, but we still have some coolant left in the blocks and the tubing. So this is the fun part. We're gonna have to kind of mess around with the system, tilt it, and try and get as much coolant out as possible. Alright, so we drained about a quart of coolant, which is pretty good, just by tilting the system and opening up a few of the plugs to release the trapped air. The next step is the messiest. We're going to start taking apart the fittings and the tubes and make sure that nothing spills on the components. So here we go. We're going to need lots of paper towels, obviously, to try and catch as much coolant as we can without getting messy. So what I like to do is pick the tube that has the least amount of coolant and start from there. So as you guys can see, the bottom tube here from the bottom GPU block to the res is nearly empty. So this is the tube I'm gonna start from and then work my way up. All right, let's get this out. Bring the jug and then rotate it. Let some more air out. All right, so it looks like majority of the coolant is still in the top 2 tubes, the CPU block, and most likely the top radiator as well. The GPU blocks, oh actually yeah, the GPU blocks are still full, it looks like. All right, the next safest place to drain from is the top. As you guys can see, there's barely any coolant left in here, so I think we're gonna move on to the side radiator over here. So as soon as I disconnected this tube over here, more of the trapped air got released, and here we are with some more coolant down here. like stuck to the case. What the hell? Oh my god. Oh, dang, it was stuck on there pretty tight. All right, so the cables are all disconnected. All right, now let's take a closer look inside the block. Ooh, so it doesn't look like this block got damaged at all. With some cleaning, I'm sure the rest of the stuff will come off very easily. Same thing with the acrylic piece. Looks like with some wiping down, this portion will come off easily too. So we're gonna go ahead and clean these later. Let's check out the other block. This one actually looks a little worse. We even see some parts of algae on the acrylic, which I've never seen in any of my GPU blocks. But yeah, either way, both blocks do need some deep cleaning. And what we're gonna be using in this video to clean these blocks are basic household items. Toothbrush and toothpaste. I like to use a Crest toothpaste with whitening power because it comes with these little crystal rocks inside that helps with cleaning. All right, that's pretty much it. Other than that, you just start brushing it. Dip that in there. Well, it's almost as good as new. There's still some stains, as you guys can see on here. That's not gonna go away. That is from the coolant just sitting there for 5 months doing nothing. You can kind of see it on this area over here. But it's looking a lot better than before, so I'm definitely happy with that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what remains of BigRed version 3. You will be missed, but not forgotten. May you rest in peace. I pretty much gutted him and laid all the parts on the desk here. All the fittings have been rinsed, so they're ready to go in a different build if needed. Both radiators have been flushed and dusted. And that frosted area from that reservoir, if you guys remember, actually came off fairly easy. It looks like it just needed some rinsing. Both the GPU blocks, of course, have been cleaned. Here are all the fans, and there is the motherboard. So now you might be asking, Ed, what are you gonna be doing with the rest of your parts? Because you're gonna be building yourself a new PC, what are you gonna do with the rest of it? As of now, I don't have any current plans with them. I might store some of the parts for future builds and others I might sell. For example, the GPUs I might sell because it's hard to reuse some of these once they are modded and painted. You know, I do have very specific color schemes and themes for my PC build. So once it's painted or modded, it's kind of hard to reuse. So as of now, some parts are going to be stored and others might be sold. In fact, the only parts I'm going to be using for BigRed version 4 is the AX1600i power supply and both of my storage devices. As of now, I have not decided what CPU I'm going with for BigRed version 4. Originally, I was supposed to go with the Ryzen Threadripper 3970X, which is a 32-core, 64-thread processor. But Intel is launching new 10th gen processors along with new Z490 boards at the end of April, which I'll be getting samples of. So I kind of want to wait and see what the performance is like before I decide what to do. I've always used Intel CPUs in my personal builds, even since the very beginning at the start of the channel. I've never once put an AMD CPU in BigRed because I didn't mind paying extra to get the best performance at the time. But sadly, that's not the case anymore because AMD is seriously stepping up their game and they're crushing Intel right now. So if Intel's new CPUs don't impress me, then I think I'm gonna switch over to AMD. For the first time in 10 years, I'm gonna be putting in an AMD CPU in my own personal build. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But do let me know if you guys enjoyed the video by leaving either a like or a dislike, and let me know your feedback on this new style of video I'm trying out by leaving your comments down below as well. Make sure you subscribe for some more awesome content, including coverage for Intel's new 10th gen processors coming in April. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video.